friends, and welcome to my channel. My name is Carla. I am the Stitchy Witch. I live in Scotland and I'm back for another update of my stitching, whatever it is I got up to in February. And I have actually been dying to come back and give you an update and everything I've been doing. But yeah, there's been stuff going on and you know, life happens and all that kind of thing. And January, February is never a good couple of months for me. I always really kind of just hibernate over the winter. I find it really difficult to get the enthusiasm to really do much. I'd rather just, you know, do December and skip straight into March. That I know that would be like losing time and everything, but those 2 months are just cold and drizzling and raining and oh yeah, just not my kind of weather. But I'm here and I have got stuff to show you. I have been doing my stitching and I've been doing other things as well. I've been reading, I've been knitting, I've been crocheting, I've been doing all sorts of stuff, a bit of writing. So I have kind of varied it a bit, not just done the stitching. And I thought that actually I was going to come on and not really have very much to show you, but then I was thinking, do you know what? I haven't worked on a lot of projects because I've purposely, and I've seen other floss tubers choose to do this as well. I've purposely chosen to narrow down how many pieces I'm working on this year. I don't know about next year, it's a different year. And just, you know, try to get the progress, because the more I keep flitting around, the less progress I see, and I don't like that. That's just not me. So I like to see progress. So I narrowed things down to about 3 or 4 whips at most. 3 or 4 projects that are full coverage, I have to say. I should have said at the beginning, I'm mostly a full coverage stitcher. When I say mostly, I think maybe like 99%, because whenever I try to do samplers and things like that, it never works out. I just end up putting them aside and I just don't bring them out. I think from experience I've learned that it's pointless starting a lot of those things because they don't even get a chance. So it's not really gonna work. So yeah, I could define myself as a full coverage stitcher. That's a given. So everything you see on this channel is going to be full coverage mostly. So if you're not into full coverage, thank you for stopping by. Have a nice life. There's plenty of videos there with all sorts of charts that are not full coverage. But yeah, here I am. This is what I do. So I'm not going to be a fake person and come on and show you stuff that I don't like, because that would be pointless. So full coverage is what I like to do. But the thing with full coverage is it takes so long to get anything done. And I've been doing this HAED full coverage thing for about 5 years now. So I've got quite a bit of experience. So I know how my mind works and how my temperament works and how I feel about my projects emotionally and that sort of thing. And I've just learned that if I keep starting too many things, I end up just not being able to keep up. And I end up just UFOing because I can't keep up. I think it's a mental health thing as well. I think somewhere that kind of gets mixed up with what you want to do, what you think you should be doing, what you feel like you want to do one day but you don't want to do the next day, and it all kind of it gets into it. It's a hot mess sometimes. So having said that, and if you've understood that, well done, because I haven't understood that. I feel like I'm gonna have to go and blow my nose in a moment. I've lost my train of thought now. It's probably not the best day to record, but here I am. I'm here now, so it's gonna get done. So having said that, it's all being narrowed down. I've got 4 projects to show you. I know you're probably thinking that's not much, but I have done a lot of work on those 4 projects. Thank you very much. I've done a lot of work and I literally brought one of them out most days. So I'll talk a little bit about each one as I bring them out. So hopefully my sinuses will behave today and they will not drive me mad and make me croaky, because I do suffer from sinus issues, and when the weather's been drizzly and humid and all that sort of thing, I get the pressure. My eyes just feels like my eyeballs feel like they're going to explode. I know they're not, but they feel like that. And yeah, that's just going into the whole hibernation thing again, where I just don't feel like a human being in December, in January or February, just don't. So I'm really glad that we're getting into March now, because I feel like things are getting a bit brighter. You know, there's green shoots coming up outside where they've got nice grass outside there, and the trees are budding and sprouting new leaves, and I just feel like there's hope again. We can emerge like the butterfly. Yeah, so I've got my tea. And here we go. Let's see how this goes, folks. So, hope everybody's well. Oh, before I start, I want to do this now because people have been asking me, when am I going to put some new needle minders in my shop? I have recently put some new needle minders into my Etsy shop. I'll see if I can show them to you. I did bring them somewhere before we start, because I will forget otherwise. So we got some new ones, so go take a look. When they go, and they're nearly always one of a kind. So I don't often duplicate things unless I do like a digital painting of something or digital artwork, and then I do copies of my artwork, which I make into needle minders. But if it's just decoupage or something like that, they're usually just the one-off. So here are a few that you can go. They're all sparkly, got a variety. We've got a little mouse. I don't know if this is picking them up very well. The link is in the description below. I'm going to put up quite a few more of the bookshelfy ones because they're quite popular. Some winter ones. And there's a dragon down here. I've already sold one of him. So yeah, just go take a quick peep if you're into needle minders or buying them, collecting them. Okay, and that's that. And so we'll get into the stitching now. So the first one I want to show you is my regular Sad Fairy by Elena Lazareva. It's a Heaven and Earth design, and this one I started in November 2020. So she's been going about 5 years. And I think I put in about 4,000 stitches in her this month, and I could say I'm trying to finish her, but I don't think that's the right phrasing. It's not that I'm trying to finish her, it's that I'm trying to get as much progress as possible without feeling burnt out, because for a long time I've been really kind of eager to get stitches done on her, and then I've been feeling burnt out and putting her aside, and then getting really eager again, and then burnt out again and putting her aside. So for me, it's a balance between, do I want to stitch this today? No, that's fine, put it away. Oh, I really want to stitch this, bring it out, stitch it, put it away. Do I want to stitch it again? No, put it away. So that's kind of how it's been going. But I've actually been really, really good. I haven't started anything new, but there is a little one I'll show you, a sneaky one. And I'm not going to say it counts because it's not going into my rotation, so it doesn't count. But I've had the chart for a while, so it's only, well, I say small, but when I say small, they're never really small. So all I've done on this one, and I'll put a picture up on the screen. If I've got previous photos of what it was like before, I can do that as well. But I'm really just working on the same area. So I'm working here. I'm trying to get this part down to here. I'll talk about my method a little bit more because people are always interested in whether I'm doing full crosses or tent or anything. I'm mostly a 2/1 tent stitcher on 25 count. I did venture for a while into 1/1 full cross, but I actually found it difficult to do cross. I found it difficult to do cross country with 1/1 full cross. Maybe it's just because it's the full cross, no matter how many strands you have. I just found it difficult to see the stitches after a while. But I find that with the tent, I can actually see the holes better. Now, I'm probably in the minority there because I see that most people are 1/1 full cross stitches, and that's fine. That's perfectly great. But having tried everything now in that particular vein, I just find the tent so much easier. And it's got the added benefit of being a little bit faster, so which you want with these huge designs. Why would you want them to take longer than they need to? I mean, I know it's about enjoying the process, but you know, I'll have grown a beard and a moustache by the time I've finished. And a beard like Santa's at that, all white and long. So I do want to kind of get them done before I turn the age of 70 or whatever, which is a way away from now, by the way. I hope you don't think that I'm going to just turn 70 soon. So yeah, I'm coming down to here. And then when I come down to here, and I can show you more or less what she looks like so far. Let's hold her up fully. Just look at those colours. I mean, how can you not love those greys and blues? It's got so much emotion and mood in it. I think that's what attracts me. I love moody pieces that show emotion, and this one, in every single branch, etc., it shows emotion and atmosphere. Kind of tells a story. And I don't think she looks sad. I think she looks pensive. Like, she looks like, oh, I wish I could see that guy that I really fancy again. Wonder where he is. That's kind of how she looks. Yes, I know that face. And I also did a little bit down here the last time, but I've come over to this side and want to get more of this down. So that's Sad Fairy. So I still got a lot to do at the very bottom. You can see where I've gridded down. That's as far down as it's going to go. So we're getting there, folks. Now, I was thinking, so I'm at 73% on Sad Fairy. I don't know if I'm going to finish her this year. I don't want to say I will, because that's when things start going, you know, screwy. If I say I'm going to finish her this year, that puts the pressure on me immediately, and then I don't bring her out. So I'm not going to put any kind of goal whatsoever, but I would say that she is more or less in the running. And if she doesn't get finished by any chance, it's not the end of the world, is it? I can just bring her out again in January next year, keep going until she's finished. I'm not going to abandon her now, I think, because I do want to see the end of this one to get to go back to my Riverwalk charm, because I found that doing the two of them simultaneously was kind of wearing me out a little bit. I was getting weary because this one was big and the other one was big, and it was like, oh my God, I'm never seeing the end of this. So I've changed my tack, I've changed my way of thinking, and now she's kind of the focus, but without the pressure. Focus without pressure. That is my motto, I think, for the moment. Let's see how long that lasts. It's done me well for January and February. I just don't feel bad at all about cutting back on others. I used to feel really bad about not getting work in the others, but then I thought, there's only so much you can do, right? And it's never a good thing to feel bad about stitching, because then it starts to affect your life in other ways, and then you start feeling bad about other things that you're not doing, like lifing and yeah, all that sort of stuff. So since I stopped the no pressure, since I started the no pressure way of thinking, things have been a lot more relaxed, actually a lot more pleasant, So the next one, I have done loads of stitching on this. It probably doesn't look like it to you, but I've done loads. So I can't remember what percentage I was last time I showed you, but now I'm at 15.5%. This is Vatican Sunset by Thomas Kincaid. picture up on the screen, and I was working, these are all 2/1 tent at the moment. Some points in the past I was doing 1/1 full cross, and then I decided no, I want to do tent instead. I actually started off as a tent stitcher at the very beginning, and then I did a little bit of parking. Sometimes I do a bit of parking, sometimes I don't. It just depends on the symbols. If there's a lot of confetti, I was going to explain this, I'm going to explain that again in a minute anyway. So Vatican Sunset, here is my progress. Whoops. And there he is. I keep giving these things genders now. I'm like saying, here she is and here he is, and I'm calling this one a he, like it's got, I don't know, something to show that it's a he, and it isn't. Looks kind of dark in here to me. Maybe the lighting. It's pretty bright today though. Please bear with me. 2 secs. Okay, so this part. No. This part. I got the little windows done here, which I'm really happy about. Got more filled in there. And then I went over and I did more of that side. And I'm kind of working down this way a little bit. So just really loving this. It's going to be quite large, up to about where my finger is. But that one's steadily coming along, and I am actually doing this one in cross country. I did a bit of a diagonal here, but I'm back to limited cross country. I'm not doing this kind of, let's just skedaddle all the way down, even with a grid, because I'm not a huge fan of gaps. I think I've mentioned that before. Not the biggest fan, but that's okay. So this one came out. So what happened last month was I was working on Fairy Whispers by Lisa Parker, and then I put it away to pick up Castle, which is the one that I worked on a little bit this month. I know it doesn't look like a lot, but there's an awful lot of stitching gone into these this month. It just, you can't tell because the stitches are so tiny and they're so big. Okay, so the next one is Castle, which is by Stitches So Beautiful. Really love it. Got quite a lot done on this one as well. Wanted to go over to the center of these to get to the main part, just to give me something nice to look at. And here we are. And I have done, my finger's going the wrong way. Start with the castle there. This one. Yeah, I hope you can see it. The colours are just gorgeous in this. Again, they're all 25 count so far. I think the colours are coming up beautiful. So again, I've been doing a bit of cross country and a little bit of parking, not as much parking. And I'm certainly not working in the snake method any longer because I can't do it. I'll tell you why in a second. Oh, and this one's at 4.8%, not a huge amount, but it is. I think I restarted this one. I got to do another part of this mountain here. That's quite a lot done for me in 4 short weeks, because February has been a very short month, hasn't even been 4 weeks. So I think that's a lot of work personally. And the other one that has been, okay, another focus piece mostly in February was the HAED Sow. And this is Battle. I've seen lots of stitchers working this one in the group, and it's really encouraged me to pick mine up. I was worried that seeing so many people stitching it and seeing so many posts about so many pictures of it being stitched would put me off and think, oh, I'm tired of seeing it now, I don't want to stitch it myself. But actually the opposite has happened. It's actually spurred me on to pick it up and stitch on it, so that's a good thing. So I got loads done compared to last time, and I'm now at 16.8%. And here is my progress. More than some people and less than others. But yeah, this is now 16.8%. So I'm coming up to 17%, which I think for 2 months is pretty good. Now, again, I started making plans and goals for this, and then I stopped wanting to bring it out. I didn't bring it out for a couple of days because I'd made a plan. So I said, okay, forget the plan. And then I started picking it up more. So I think for me, it's kind of like reverse psychology or something weird going on there. And I'm working it, like I said, on limited cross country, 2 over 1/10 stitch. And this ship is crazy confetti, absolutely crazy. I mean, you can only see one dark color there, but that black bit down there is about 30-40 different colors. And it's not that I have a huge problem getting my needle in, I don't, but it's just so slow, because you pick up a thread, you thread your needle, you do 1 stitch or 2 stitches, you end your thread, you get another thread, you do 1 stitch, you end your thread, you get another thread, you do 1-2 stitches, you end your thread, and it's like that all evening, and it's like, oh. But the thing I like about the cross country is that I can say, right, okay, I'm going to do half an hour of that craziness, and then I'm going to come back over here, which is not hugely confetti, and I can do a whole big section of color. That's what I've been doing over here. So that's the nice thing about doing the limited cross country, or even the extreme cross country, which I'm not going to do, is that you can just, you know, do a few of the terrible parts of the crazy bits, and then you can have a break and come and do a whole big load. So you'll get your stitches in that way. So some days I've been getting like 500 stitches, 600 stitches, and other days I'm getting like 100, 150, because I kind of stayed down there, which wasn't a good idea, because I don't feel like I've done very much when I only get 100 or so. It makes me, I know it's progress is progress, but I just feel like that really wasn't very productive. So I'm just going to try and continue like that. I'm going to bear with in the cross country down here, and just pick up the occasional, you know, I'm basically going to vary a bit up here, a bit down there, until I get all the ship done. I'm not just going to do all the background and then be left with that, because I think that's probably going to end up as a disaster. If I just leave myself all the confetti at the end, I guarantee this will just disappear and nobody will see it again. Well, I won't see it again. And then I said that I think, I mean, ideally, I would like to finish this. I keep saying this, like, I'd love to finish this by the end of this year, because then it would be like, hey, I completed the whole thing. But again, it's not going to be a goal, because, like I said, goals don't work. So think, if I don't make it a goal, it might actually happen. That's the crutch of it. If I don't make it the goal to finish, I might finish. Does that sound ridiculous to you? Because I'm trying to use that reverse psychology on myself, I think. So yeah, that's what I wanted to explain. What I wanted to explain was that I felt like I haven't been working on so many, but then I've been enjoying the fact that I've got more done on these. So what I want to do, I'm going to forget using the word plan, because I don't want to use that word. I might switch. I'm enjoying this one so much. I'm enjoying Castle so much at the moment. I want to continue, but I also want to continue with Fairy Whispers for the moment. So I'm thinking, if I'm enjoying what I'm working on at the moment with these 4, maybe I should just continue this way. we'll see how it goes. I mean, sometimes I think I might just go completely monogamous and maybe just work on this one. But then I know that after a week, I'm ready to kind of switch out. So yeah, I don't think that's going to work. Not completely, not 100%. So I admire those who do work completely monogamously after doing rotations and stuff like that. Because it must be like, you know, being used to eat all the candy bars and then being told you can only eat one or two. Must kind of feel like that. Okay, and here's another little tiny one that I was just dabbling around with. This is from Pink Lily Patterns on Etsy. And I'll put a picture up on the screen because now this is, I don't know, I don't think this is classified as full coverage because it's not got a complete square of stitching. So it does still look like a kind of cameo watercolor effect picture. And it just appealed to me, and I thought I don't actually have any charts that look like bookshops. And the ones that I see that are really popular have got bookshops, but they've got bookshops with, or not just bookshops, actual books on shelves with dragons, or, you know, like the stitching shelf, all the little people and everything. And there's not just an actual bookshop. So I thought, oh, this is cute. This kind of reminds me of when I used to go to Spain and wander down the little narrow streets, and then you'd come across a little bookshop just around a corner that you never expected, and the way the light would hit it, it would be so bright. That kind of, you know, effect is what it has. And I thought, hey, I'm just gonna have a go. So I started a little bit there, not much, but when I get tired of the other four, I just brought this one out and did about one thread, two threads. That was it. And it was a little break. So this one's got, again, on the 25 count, this one's got about 90,000 stitches in total, I think. Yeah. So I'm keen to see, the mock-up looks fine to me. I've heard some people saying about these particular designs from this Etsy shop, whether they were good quality. I don't know, because I never stitched any before, but so far it looks okay to me. And the mock-up looks okay, so I'm just going to go by that. If I get deep into it and it looks a bit weird or whatever, I think I might have to, you know, decide if I'm going to continue. I don't know, but we'll see. So for the moment, I'm enjoying it anyway. It's a little break from everything else. And I have to pick one for tonight because my husband is going bowling with his colleagues. So it's a me night and I have to pick one to work on. So yeah, put down in the comments which one you think I should work on tonight. And I won't guarantee that I'll pick it, but I will consider it. I'm not really in the mood for Sad Fairy at the moment. I don't know why. I'm just not. I'm just not in the mood today or even this week. I was last week. It just goes to show, doesn't it, that it's really kind of weird the way you can be interested in something one day, even just for a couple of hours, and then like even in the same day, you can lose interest in something. I find that psychology totally fascinating. It just goes to show how complex we are as human beings, that we can chop and change and make different decisions, which is kind of why I love doing big ones, but I'm very, very reserved about doing the huge big ones because I know I'm going to get tired of it after about 2 months. Okay, maybe not 2 months. Definitely after a year, I start to get like, oh, this is hanging around my neck. And I've got to keep going, I've got to keep going, I've got to keep going. So I feel like maybe I should step back from choosing the big one. Now, this library of cats is coming out, and I've kept saying, oh, I love the idea. I love the idea of it more than the actual doing of it, if that makes any sense. I know a lot of you are crazy about it, and you're all willing to start. And I can't believe some people have even kitted up already, and I don't even think it's been released yet. I think it was meant to be released this week or maybe in a couple of weeks. But the Library of Cats by Amy Stewart has been a chart that we've been waiting for a long time. Even I've been waiting it without even committing to saying I'm going to stitch it. And when I looked at the mock-up, there was all sorts of like little writing in between the shelf. I put a picture of the shelf. Now this is the image that is licensed. This is Amy Stewart's image, but I think this is the version that she's sending to HAED anyway, to be charted. And I can see, if you zoom in, there's loads of like little writing. I think somebody said it was the name of the cats going all at the bottom of the shelves. Now, to get some idea of what those names are, which would be nice, I think it would be nice if you actually do this, that you could read the names of all the cats. I'm curious to see if my cat is in there, Misty. I think I see her at the very bottom, peeking out of one of these, what's behind me, the little thing with the door. She does go in there sometimes. I think that looks a bit like my Misty. I can't see, because it's kind of blurry, I can't see whether her name, Misty, is on those shelves. But I think you'd have to probably do a max color or a supersize to be able to get that detail, to be able to read it, to be able to read the names. And I think it would be a shame if you did all that work and you can't read the names. So I have to say, I'm not really keen on doing, I don't want to do SSMC. It's just too much for me. I just can't. I can't. At the very most, I would consider a regular, but even max color frightens me, because with max color, you're just going to get a lot of confetti. And I like a bit of balance with confetti, as I said. So I don't want to just lie and say, yeah, I want to do it, if I don't really 100% feel invested. And because it's got all those names on it, I don't know, I'm leaning more towards the no than the yes. So if you are going to start it, let me know what you think about those little cat names on the bottom of the shelves there. And if it matters to you, whether you can read them or not. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe you're just happy to do it anyway. And do we actually know if you're going to be able to read them in the supersized version? Because I don't know. Maybe you still can't read the names. So yeah, it's a little bit opaque, a little bit obscure at the moment. I don't know. Maybe when we see the actual chart in a mock-up, version, we'll be able to tell. But it is dead cute, and I do love cats. Obviously, you can see I've got a cat, and she's not here at the moment. She's sleeping on my bed, and just the idea of doing it is great. But to put that much, invest that much of your time, because life isn't that long, is it? We haven't got like 100 years, 400 years to just do all these things. I feel I'm getting a lot more picky now about what I choose. More picky to the point where I'm just not deciding on anything, because I don't know where I really want to invest my time now. So yeah, it's more thought than actual I want to do all the things like everybody else, but I've learned to rein myself back and think more deeply about, do I really, 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 really want to do it? And if I do want to do it, do I want to do it now, is the other question. So I'm sorry if I sound like a bit of a spoilsport and I'm not starting all the things and, doing all the... But at the end of the day, we're all different, and we have to learn. We have to learn what suits us best. And sometimes we go through difficult periods just to get to the other side of that fence. Sometimes we like just doing all the things and it doesn't bother us. But I think I've heard a few people saying that they're overwhelmed. And yeah, some of us are all learning the same lessons. And I think it's fine also to stitch all the things if that brings you pleasure. But if it brings you stress, it is something you need to kind of investigate a bit more. Maybe just step back and take a little bit of a closer look at what it is you actually want. So that's what I got done in February, and I'm quite happy with it. I also did a little bit of knitting and a little bit of crochet and a little bit more reading of the books that I showed you in the last video. I did knit this, but not recently, and I thought about knitting another one. This is a pattern. think it's a red heart pattern, and this is so like nice and squishy. You can see how nicely so it's kind of a V shape, but very long. And I kind of like the fact that it's long enough to not flip back with the wind, because I don't like the scarves that just kind of, when you wrap them round, they just kind of end here, and then as soon as a bit of wind comes, your scarf is gone, and you're kind of like battling to find the ends. And I also kind of, I've realised that I like something a bit less heavy. I don't like things, unless I'm frozen cold, I don't like things that are like that, because I feel like I'm being choked. So I like things a little bit looser. Generally, now that the edge has come off of that really freezing cold air outside, I feel like it's a good time for this scarf, because it's not freezing outside anymore. It's not warm by any means, but it's not like this, end of December, early January weather. And it's quite pleasant actually. So I brought this one out, and I thought about doing it it's got a slight purpley bit at the top. So this is made with two balls of yarn, and it's a very interesting pattern. So if you're interested in the pattern, just let me know. I can't remember the name of the pattern. If I remember the name of the pattern, I'll put it down below. But I know that the yarn is called It's a Wrap, and I think that it's actually discontinued now. But you can it's just a simple garter stitch as well. It's quite easy. I had really, really long circular needles for it. I mean, they were so long, I think you could use them as a swing. It was crazy. I went to have a look to see if I could get two balls of two different colours so that I could make something similar, different shades, but a lot of them are discontinued. But I think this is a 4-ply, so any 4-ply yarn where you've got enough yards to make it, I think would suffice. But I'm trying to finish things that I started again years ago, and I've been working on, just trying to catch up with a few things that I've left behind. That's kind of it really. There's really not much else that I've been doing. Enjoying more of I was going to say sun, but we haven't had any sun. I think we've had 2 days of sun since the beginning of January, which is really quite depressing, because I don't like a lot of sun, but some sun is nice, just a little bit to warm you up when you go outside. As I say, things are looking a little bit brighter. You can see we've turned a little bit of a corner with regard to the winter, and which means I'm going to be out a little bit more than usual. And I'm just going to try and enjoy that nature. I love spring because you get the cherry blossom trees down the road start to blossom, and they look gorgeous. And there's just things to see that you want to see when spring comes around. So folks, I'm going to stop yakking away about nothing and let you go, and thank you again for spending the time with me. And yeah, I'll see how I get on with these projects for March. Like I said, no goals, no plans, just stitching what I want, when I want. Okay. So take care, my friends, and I'll speak to you again soon. Bye for now.